This one system manages over 80 sales reps across 9 different sales teams, producing more than $8.5 million in revenue, fully on autopilot. And in today's video, I'm going to walk you through the system and how it translates data into visibility. But before I show you the system, I just want to explain why it works so well. Now, based on my experience, vast majority of businesses that have a sales team in place are typically structured like this. They have dozens of spreadsheets for closers and setters, so individual for one closer, individual for one setter, then they have master sheets, etc. So essentially all over the place. Then there's multiple people for data management, meaning that there is not one single person cleaning and managing the data to make sure everything is fully accurate. And on top of that, it's manual input from top to bottom. Over a longer period of time, this will create unreliable system for making decisions because simply the data is just scattered across multiple places. And not only that it gives you a false sense of clarity and visibility, but it does not help you spot any bottlenecks before they actually happen. This system fixes everything and replaces any manual work. Just for context, where we track is obviously sales team performance, so closers and setters through end of the day reports, as well as each and every single payment that comes through. So we assign each value to each sales rep and calculate their commission. So like I said, this is fully automated, updates in real time, daily, and the person does not really have to lift a finger. They just log in and see exactly what is going on. In terms of this setup specifically, we have admin access, sales rep access, client access. So admin access, founder, CEO, sales manager, essentially the person making decisions. They get, access to literally everything they need to see. Then we have sales reps. So it's not uncommon, specifically in the high ticket space, that sales reps just leave after a few weeks because simply the alignment or the expectations were not the same. But this way, we show the sales rep, okay, you have made this amount of money, as well as this is your performance. And if you're below the KPI, then you have to work something out. And in terms of client access, this depends on what the business is that we're working with, but usually client access is for people who manage other sales teams. But let me show you the system. As a disclaimer, this is not Airtable or Google Looker Studio or anything like that. This is a tool that is fully customizable to each business that we implement the system for. So obviously not everyone tracks the same stuff, looks at the same metrics, so we obviously customize it to the business. Now, the entire idea behind this dashboard, this system, is to centralize your view and having the clarity of what is going on and what might happen. You don't know how many founders cannot even answer simple stuff like, are we pacing below or above our KPI? If we are setting goals, is it more likely that we hit them or no? If no, then what do we need to tweak to make that happen? And stuff like that. So this system essentially makes sure to give you that clarity that you need. So at the top section, we have, the basic stuff such as revenue, cash collected, show rate, close rate, scheduled calls, live calls, etc. We can also see the pacing and the variance, how much we're, pacing compared to our current goals. Same thing with KPIs. Another section, we have breakdowns of revenue and cash collected on a weekly, daily, and monthly basis. Then we have breakdown of our performance, so show rate, close rate, week over week, because obviously we can exceed our KPIs the next week or the last week, but what has happened in the previous 2 months? If we're not improving week over week, something is wrong. Then obviously this is customizable tool, so we can just simply hide the section if you want to see different data or if you want to analyze differently. Then we have a funnel breakdown and then close the leaderboard, right? So having the clarity of, okay, who has the best show rate, who has the best close rate is something that you can also analyze and see who is the person who's actually taking the sales team down and who needs to be either coached better or coached more, fired, etc. And lastly, probably the most favorite thing about this system is actually this table. This could be a tool in and of itself, and essentially it displays all data that we have in our own database. So by default, we can see, if we have the filter on this month, we can see how much we're pacing, what's the variance, etc. But if I wanted to look at what is going on week over week, month over month, or if I want to see just performance of a specific sales rep over, a couple of weeks, I can customize my view. So let me just quickly change this filter to this year and let's see. So I can obviously customize my view. So when I click customize, what that's going to do is give me an option how I want to group my data. So is it weekly? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? So let's do just weekly. And if we want to segment it by a sales rep, so if we want to segment by a sales rep, it would be like week 1 Max, week 1 Alex, week 2 Max, week 2 Alex, etc. Now, let's say we don't want that. We want to just see the entire sales team week over week. If we apply this view, and wait a minute, as we can see, this is our performance week over week. Now, if I was to analyze this, I see, okay, our show rate is above the KPI most of the weeks, but our close rate is lacking, and that could be due to many reasons. It just depends on the business, right? But for example, the offer rate is not as high, and this could indicate, okay, the leads that are actually booking calls and showing up are not necessarily qualified, etc. Now, small things such as, this is a lot of data, this is a lot of stuff, because we obviously have a strong database behind it, so we can hide columns just for better visibility. Or we can simply, as with any table, sort it by a specific column if you wanted to see. Now, this is on a weekly basis, but if you want to see by sales rep, we can as well. By the way, if you want this exact system for your sales team live in the next 4 days, head to our website, check out the demo, and book a call. But let's get back to the video. Now, another dashboard, another place of visibility is obviously the setter team. So if you do have setters, this is for you. Right now, again, depends on the business. Not every single company has, phone setters, DM setters, triage setters. So this could be customized to whatever you have set up as of now. But this is pretty much the same thing, just for setters specifically. And so obviously at the top, we have the performance customized to setters. Then if I want to see phone setters, I can just expand or hide specific sections. Same thing with breakdowns of cash collected and kind of like the performance week over week. Same thing with the funnel, leaderboard. And in terms of the end of the day reports table, now if you have all three, if you have DM setters, triage setters, and phone setters, this is again a lot of data. So you can just simply click on select preview view, phone setters, and just gives you the necessary information that you need about your phone setters. And I guess the last page of the admin access is payments and commissions. So if you've ever tracked commissions for your salespeople and you have multiple members on the team, you know how annoying and painful it is to track it manually in Google Sheet and trying to just figure out how much do you owe each person. This system is fully automatic, like I said, and we have multiple automations set up for each and every single payment that comes through. So we look for a salesperson, we attach them to the payment, and then we calculate the commission and the payment, and all of the information displays in this table and in this page. As I was talking about manual input, as you can see here, for example, payment log, which is the automation of the payments to the granules detail, we have 313K. But in the end of the day report submissions, we have only 310. There's discrepancy, and it's up to you to just figure out why is that. Then total commissions, don't really worry about that. This is for just offer that manages other companies or other sales teams. And then you have unassigned payments. So obviously not every single payment might come through. There is always a possibility of automation breaking down or having something not working. So there's always an option to create the payment manually. And sometimes there isn't a sales rep assigned to the payment. So it just displays here, okay, there are two unassigned payments, and you would simply just go in, edit, and see what's up. Now at the bottom, we have closer commissions and setter commissions. So based on what the commission structure is, whether it's percentage or per deal, you can simply click on list payments, and it's just going to give you all of the payments that are assigned to the person. Since we track, contact ID, payment ID, payment email, etc., we can also open up the contact in your CRM. So in this case, it's Go high level, but it could be HubSpot, Close, etc. Same thing with the processor. It doesn't really matter what processor it is because we track everything. So when you click on this, it's going to take you to that payment specifically, so you see exactly what is happening. And as I mentioned at the beginning, each and every single salesperson gets their own login information. So when I log in, I immediately see how much revenue I've generated, what's the cash collected, how much I'm making, and how many payments went through. If I want to go a little bit more in detail to see, who actually paid, I can just open it up in the CRM. Now, don't really mind your positions because this is for systemized sales and it's a little bit customized to them. But this is essentially what the sales rep would see. As I was talking about the misalignment and reps leaving after a couple of weeks, this is another thing that a lot of people don't have access to or don't really know what is going on. So as a sales rep, I come in and I see my performance. Our KPI for show rate is 75%. What I can see, okay, 75, I'm doing good. But what I lack is my close rate. Close rate is 25%, but mine is 18. Now it's up to the salesperson to understand, okay, I'm not really hitting the numbers I'm supposed to. Therefore, I should work on a specific area of my skill set, right? And they can see exactly, all of the submissions right here. This is obviously dummy data just to show you, but that's, for example, for this month. Obviously, that's crazy numbers. But if I was to go to January 1st for like this year, as we can see, 76% show rate, 19% close rate. So we're off by 6%. And this just creates the accountability for the salesperson and the sales manager to understand what needs to be done to literally move forward. Now, there's a lot of stuff, obviously, that goes into it. So we manage a lot of automations for this specific client, around 23 automations. And obviously, we look for submissions, we look for payments. And like I said, everything is fully automatic. But when you have the system in place, it runs on autopilot without you worrying about, anything. And just quickly, I want to share a small, simple framework when it comes to actually building a tracking system or a fully automatic tracking system. So you always have to identify what the triggers are and what the data points need to be. Meaning, if we want to track payments, we have to look at Stripe or Whoop or whatever you use as a payment processor. If we wanted to look for submissions, whether it's end of the day reports or whatever, we look for Typeform or Fillout. If we want to look for appointments that are being booked, then we look at Calendly or Go High Level Calendars or something like that. Then there's another point where we have automation. So when we have the trigger, we have to somehow connect it and automate it. You can either use Make.com or Zapier. Then we have the storage, which is the database, right? In order to build very robust tracking systems, or even just simple ones, you need a database in place. That could be, I don't like to say it, but they could be Google Sheets, that could be Airtable, BigQuery, Supabase, etc. And then how do you visualize the data? So usually people use Google Studio or Airtable if they can, or they go with us with a custom visualization specifically for the business. This tracking system in and of itself could be used for 100, 200, 1,000 reps. The foundation is there, and that's the only reason we've been able to automate the entire thing, track over $8.5 million in sales deals across 9 teams for 80 plus sales reps. The foundation is there, and you have to think about the data as in relationships, as in having a proper database and then leveraging it later on. If you want to look or if you want to learn more about databases and how to think in relationships, there's going to be a video down below. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. If you want this system implemented for you in the next 4 days, go to our website, check out our demo. You can click this and you're going to see a demo, or book a call and let's talk. Let's set this up for you. Thank you. Bye.